G'day, it's Adam here again with another quick instant movie review for you. So tonight I caught Maxxxine, a 2024 American slasher film, written, produced, directed, edited, probably catered by Ty West. This is his third installment in his X film series, and it serves as a direct sequel to the 2022 film called X. That film starred Mia Goth. This film stars Mia Goth once again reprising her role as Maxxxine Minx, a very determined young lady who basically wants to become a Hollywood star. X saw her starting off really as a porn star, wanting to really get up in the ranks in that world. This film sees her launching herself into Hollywood in 1985, about 6 years after the events of X, where some pretty nasty stuff happened. So this time around, she's going for auditions, she's going hard, she's doing whatever it takes to get there, and she's been cast in this film called The Puritan 2. This is where her Hollywood star will rise. However, while she's trying to leave behind the world of the sleazy adult industry, she's being targeted by a killer, the Night Stalker, and this person is basically knocking off people that she knows. And why? Is there events from her past that are dictating her future? Are people all around her dropping off for some reason that she knows why? Or is it something else? Well, I guess you're going to have to see the film to find out. So X was a real 1970s exploitation kind of film, which was sort of a slasher porn kind of thing, which was pretty squishy and pretty great, all set in one location, and it was made on a really small budget, but with some great stars, great acting, really interesting premise, and as I said, was a real slingshot to those days of the 1970s exploitation horror films. Pearl was a similar sort of thing, except it was Ty West's homage to films of the 1950s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, Technicolor era, think Wizard of Oz in a slasher film. That's kind of what Pearl was, and it was a very unsettling film. So this film is probably closer to something like a Brian De Palma film from the 1980s, sort of a Dress to Kill kind of body double kind of thing, I suppose, if you're aware of his work. And it is very much entrenched in the fabric of the 1980s. So 1985, Ty West is meticulously gone through and looked at what was in 1985 and has done some amazing production design on this film. And kudos to the guys who did the production design, and quite horrendous in some respects. There is a toilet scene in a club that, that was like, oh, well, I wouldn't want to be dressing that scene, that's for sure. So there is some really good stuff here. I think my problem with Maxxxine is it doesn't feel potentially as urgent or well workshopped, I think, as much as the previous films. Certainly Pearl, for me, Mia Goth's performance in that film was absolutely astonishing. And she does have a very good opening scene in this where she's auditioning for this film. Elizabeth Debicki is in this film. She's fantastic, really, really good. Does lay out a fair bit of story and a fair bit of, inspirational trope coming through as this director who's up and coming, who really wants to prove herself with this Puritan 2 film, and really feels like this is where Maxxxine will shine if they both work together to create something special. It's a really odd, I suppose, that this sort of, sequel to this film that was kind of an underground kind of, film, is the thing that's going to rise them both up. So, yeah, there's some interesting elements in this. Halsey pops up, Lily Collins pops up, Bobby Cannavale pops up. You got Michelle Monaghan in this. So there's some good actors. There's some big stars in this. Where this ends and how it ends is also kind of a bit weird. And the reveal, and I mean, I think look-wise, the film looks really cool. The same cinematographer who's worked with Ty West is working on this one again before. So the look is good. the era is good. Maxxine feels a little different. She doesn't feel... it's tricky. The character evolution doesn't feel... I'm not sure if it's earned enough. There's something about Mia Goth's performance in this, and maybe it's because Pearl was a different character to Maxxine, that I kind of wanted to see another Pearl film. I mean, that's kind of how I felt, because her character was so interesting, and that film did something really, quite unsettling. This film has some good sequences. It's got a great sequence with a molding sequence. So there's a good slasher scene which involved a highlighter. Yes, I won't say too much more, but that really was really good. And the Foley in this film is really good as well. So there's a lot of play on sound in this thing. I mean, it's got all the right style tropes. I just don't feel like the story was well flushed out enough. Kevin Bacon in this film is really fun as this private detective who's kind of employed by his client to sort of seek out Maxxine. So there's a few things story-wise that they don't overly make sense, and it's not overly coherent. If she survived this massacre that occurred in Texas, really that is public knowledge because it's been in the papers. So why is she? How is it that she's going to be revealed? There's a few things, and how would the cops not know? There's a few things in this that I was like, really? It's not as shocking as Pearl and X. There's a few kind of graphic kills, but nothing overly, gonna, make you step back too far. I don't know, just something was missing. I feel like this was just very rushed, and probably another couple of passes of the script might have picked up the things that didn't make a lot of sense. But all in all, Ty West has created 3 really unique films that as a trilogy are quite interesting. As standalone pieces have their own merits. And I think you never want to squash filmmakers like this giving these things a go, because the era looks great. The production design's really good. Everyone in it is really good. As I said, Elizabeth Debicki is probably one of the standouts for me. Kevin Bacon's having fun. Lots of nods to other films such as Chinatown and, as I said, Brian De Palma films. But overall, though, it just felt like there was something lacking in Maxxine, unfortunately, which doesn't really tie the 3 films overly together coherently. So, Maxxine, I would probably give a 6.5 out of 10. I did enjoy it. I would recommend it if you want to finish up your 3 films, although there is touted to be a 4th one, so who knows. Anyway, that's my review of Maxxine. I hope whatever you're doing, you're having fun doing it, and I'll catch you next time here in my car.